calling this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. The Planning and Zoning Commission is an independent advisory body of the City of Ames City Council. Planning and Zoning Commission members are volunteers of the community and not part of the city administration. The Planning and Zoning Commission is supported by staff from the city's planning division. The commission is responsible for recommendations on matters involving subdivisions, annexations, master plans, and major site development plans, amendments to the zoning ordinance, and comprehensive plan amendments. We make a recommendation based on city codes, the facts presented, and input from the public. As an advisory commission, we welcome all comments regarding the proposed item. Please direct your input to the commission. If the proceedings become lengthy, we may ask that comments be focused on new information not previously presented. You may speak only once on an agenda item. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker information card and present it to the recording secretary. We ask that you come to the microphone to speak so that all comments may be recorded. The order of the proceeding for each item on the agenda will be as follows. City staff will present the staff report regarding the agenda item. Commission members will have an opportunity to ask questions of city staff. The applicant will be invited to make a statement regarding the request. Commission members will have an opportunity to ask questions of the applicant. Members of the audience will be invited to come forward to offer comments and questions. Once public comment is closed, city staff and the applicant will have an opportunity for concluding remarks. The commission will discuss the application based on all presentations and any comments given and come to a recommendation for city council. The discussion may include further questions of city staff and the applicant for clarification. And with that, we'll move into the first item on the agenda, which is introduction of commission members.
Cheryl Moss.
Mike Clayton.
Mike Sullivan.
Mike LaPetra.
Matthew Voss.
All right, now we'll move to item 3, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for approving the agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. And now we have approval of the minutes of September 17th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
A motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll open it for the public forum. So this is the item on the agenda that if anyone wishes to speak from the audience on items that are not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to do so. Would anyone like to come up and speak for the public forum? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public forum and we'll move on to agenda item 6, zoning text amendment to amend material standards for off-street parking areas and driveways for agricultural equipment.
Good evening. As you stated, this is a text amendment to our paving standards. So all vehicle maneuvering and parking areas are required to be paved under the current ordinance. This specific amendment is to allow gravel to be used as a paving surface for agricultural equipment. And this is limited to the RI zone, which is the zoning district that the research park is located. It's the Research Park Innovation District zone, and that's the zone that's shown in the map, just so you have an idea of where it's located, generally along Collaboration Place. And then I've also highlighted a parcel to the south that was recently annexed. You might remember that annexation becoming for you. That will be rezoned. Likely to the RI zone. And that property is the subject of a potential new development that it will involve agricultural equipment storage and testing. And because of the amount of equipment on the site, the storage areas, the need for testing areas, there's a significant amount of maneuvering area that will also be used by vehicles. And because of the amount of maneuvering area that will be commingling vehicles and equipment and the amount of paving that will be required, the opportunity to use gravel in this area would be a significant cost savings. So again, the issue is that the maneuver areas are used by vehicles and agricultural equipment. Areas for parking of vehicles, the main site access would still be required to be paved. Storage areas for agricultural equipment, the testing areas are already not required to be paved. So we're really looking at these shared spaces between buildings where you might take an ag equipment out of a building and maneuver it to the test track or a storage area outside. I will note, this is the RI zone, so we're trying to create a high quality environment that really reflects the goal for innovation and research. There's higher design and landscaping standards in this district. So I think you'll see the amendment was tailored to ensure that those landscaping and design standards were still met and were not impacting, the character of the district. So in going through the text amendment, I'll put it up on the screen. You can see the bulleted points are summarizing, while there would be an exception to use gravel just for agricultural equipment, so not other heavy equipment, large trucks, these unpaved areas would be required to be behind principal buildings, so not necessarily visible from the street. It wouldn't be allowed. It would have to be an accessory use. So a maneuvering area is an accessory use, but we couldn't have just a principal use of unpaved storage, area for equipment. We would need to review the surface material to make sure the rock depth was adequate, and landscaping requirements for loading areas that are already in the ordinance would still apply. And at the planning director's discretion, they may require additional landscaping or buffering of these unpaved areas. So again, this proposed text amendment is pretty narrowly tailored, only applies to the RI district, you're not eligible to be requested in other zones, only for agricultural equipment. Before I get into your alternatives tonight, I just want to note that in formulating options for City Council to consider and authorizing this text amendment, we did have options to broaden it to other industrial zones to allow heavy equipment users to take advantage of this exception, as a lot of times with industrial uses, we do get concerned about the cost of paving for a larger industrial development that might be using heavy equipment on these paved surfaces. And we did also have an option, instead of planning director approval and review of this exception, to allow the zoning board of adjustment to review and approve the exception. And that would just elevate the level of review and public review, since notice would be provided. So those were other options to allow this amendment. So alternative one is what staff is recommending, which is the narrowly tailored amendment just to allow this exception in the RI zone for agricultural equipment, subject to planning director approval. Alternative two would be to recommend an amendment to the paving requirements with a different scope, so applying to additional zones or having zoning board of adjustment approval. And then three would be recommending that City Council take no action to amend paving requirements. I'm happy to take any questions.
Was there any consideration given to requiring a certain setback for this unpaved lot, or do you think the behind principal buildings aspect covers that?
I think we thought the behind principal buildings aspect covered that. The principal building will have to meet setbacks.
We've seen a concept for how this will work. The intent is that this area will not be in front of any building. So your customary appearance from the street shall stay the same. There'll be front yard landscaping. If there's parking between the building and the street, it will be paved. The only area that this could be would be behind a principal building, so essentially unseen. I think your nuisance issues just come from adjacencies of neighbors more so than a street relationship. And that's kind of the factor that goes into this when you're thinking about it. So we think we've dealt with the front area. That'll be fine. It's going to be the back areas where this would apply. And you would have to have a building. You can't build a storage yard without it depends on what the zone is, but in RI, you couldn't just build like a gravel storage area in the first place.
Any other questions for city staff? Okay, well, and then at that time, we'd invite the applicant to come up if they'd like to come up and make a statement.
Good evening, Rick Sanders. I'm president and director of the ISU Research Park. First of all, so appreciate the time that you guys put in on behalf of all of us here in Ames. And thank you to Amelia and Kelly and the whole planning staff. We really tried hard to really tailor this. This is not speculative. This is based on a real project that we're trying to get done, and it is a substantial project that really leverages the expertise and capabilities and intellectual properties that we're all fortunate to have here at Iowa State University. And the other thing that I'll point out is while you see Kelly, is that a 36-acre section that we annexed, not including the homestead? Does that sound right?
Yes.
36-acre section or quarter that we just annexed. We also own the surrounding 3/4 quarters that are still in the county. So we're the neighbor that's closest to all of this. And the concept is pretty simple. We want to have the ability to continue to be at the forefront of what the future of digital and precision ag looks like. And in order to do that, we need to have more and more testing capabilities. It's the reason that we acquired this 150 acres that was just outside of the city limits. And it's the reason we're coming forward to you. In addition, Amelia's 100% right. There is a cost savings on this project. It's between $500,000 and $700,000 in cost savings, but it's even more than that. If you're talking about a cotton picker, for example, no matter how well you pave something, it's going to destroy that pavement pretty quickly. And so it just conceptually, it makes a lot more sense to have that kind of equipment moving on and off gravel as it's moving into more rural areas. With that, I'd be willing to take any questions you all might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, we'll invite if there's any members of the audience that would like to come up and make comment on this agenda item. Please come up to the microphone at this time. All right, seeing none, we'll move on. So public comment is closed. So does city staff or the applicant have any final concluding remarks?
No.
Okay. All right, seeing none, do we have any discussion we'd like to have on this agenda item? Pretty straightforward. All right.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion?
Recommend that the city council amend paving requirements to introduce an exception in the RI zone for agricultural equipment, subject to approval by the planning director, as presented. That's alternative 1. Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. So now we'll move on. Thank you. To item 7, commission comments. Does anyone on the commission have any comments?
Do you expect we'll have agenda items next time?
Yeah, I'll do staff comments in a second if that's,
Yeah.
see if there's any other comments.
Nope.
Okay, so I have 2 comments. So yeah, we do expect to have a meeting. We plan to have the second phase of the planned unit development by the Tedesco Learning Center. So you did an approval off of University, and there was a second phase of apartments to be built further back by the Tedesco Park. That should be on the agenda next time. So that'll be the main project you'll see next time. So yes, be prepared to be here. And then just kind of a general update. The City Council at their last meeting talked about development incentives, primarily related to single family home construction. So this was kind of been an ongoing request that's been put before the City Council back in May. They asked for additional information about 5 development projects in the city. So if you're interested in some of the ins and outs of the economic aspects of the incentive request, that would be in that last report we did for City Council. And they are going to then ask for additional information. So we're probably going to be reporting back later in October in reference to those development incentives. So what that means for the commission is you don't really have a role in incentives and budgeting, but this really is related to unlocking the land So you would see these subdivisions, and some of them still need rezonings to move forward. So you're going to be seeing some, hopefully this winter, we're going to be seeing some new subdivisions related to single family and mixed housing opportunities as a result of this. So if you're interested in that issue, you can go, again, look back at that city council report. But you're going to see the projects themselves more so than the financial aspects.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. All right. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
All right. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.